It's the Fellowship of the Geek Show, a weekly podcast about comics, the comic book industry, and other geek pop culture. Music courtesy of Manny the Martyr. And now, on with the show!
Hey there, everybody. It's the Fellowship of the Geeks podcast. My name is Thomas Chick, and joining me for this episode is Mike Marlowe,
Hey, gang.
Les Webster,
Hello.
and Liz Newman.
Hello, everybody.
How are you guys doing?
Groovy.
That's my usual answer.
I beat you.
You did.
Well, I hope everybody's doing okay out there. So what's been going on in your corner of the galaxy?
Well, I still don't have a ton going on that's newsworthy, I guess.
I noticed a trend here. Do you, Mike?
Yeah,
What,
she's fallen into your habit of claiming she doesn't have anything and then going on for 20 minutes.
Ooh.
or
Don't do
talking
that
your
all
ear
the
off
time.
before pre-show.
No,
I
you
don't
don't
do
always
that.
go on for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
I got nothing. um,
Okay, Mike, it's your turn.
No.
Go ahead, Liz.
I did start watching Andor. I've heard a lot of good things about it, but I haven't seen it yet. Well, I did. I started it, then I stopped it, and then I restarted it, and I watched it with Brandon, and I've gotten 3 episodes in, and I'm still kind of like, what's going on? I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I mean, usually, especially in a new series, the first 3 episodes, you'd kind of get a feel of, okay, they hate this guy and they're going to chase him down because he did X, Y, Z. I don't know. I'm sure it's coming, but I don't know if I can stay too long.
A little too slow a burn for your taste.
It's real slow. And I know they're building up to something, and part of Andor is 12 episodes, I think it is. And I'm used to things like The Mandalorian and all the other spin-off things they've done. They're usually 8 to 10. So when you've got 3 episodes in, you know, you're almost halfway through this, and I think having just even the couple of extra episodes, they feel like they've kind of got, little time to go stroll through the daisies, but it's losing me because I want to know who you are. I want to know why they're chasing you. Make me care. And right now, it's.
Let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen Rogue One?
I
The
think
movie.
I have.
Okay, that's the guy. Diego Luna. That's the character from Rogue One.
Okay, maybe I haven't seen that one yet then.
Okay.
So Andor's a prequel to that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, between the first and second season, it basically more or less leads up to Rogue One. Which I assume I have not watched Andor, but from what I have read online, the general consensus is this is the best Star Wars series.
See, and that's what I keep hearing. I mean, it's kind of one of those, you go into it and you want to love it. You've heard a lot of great things about it, and then you get in it and you're like, wait a minute.
Well, I wish I could help you. I have not seen it, so.
Yeah.
But Rogue One's a really good movie. Really good.
Maybe if I watch that, it'll get me a little more interested in what's happening. Because so far, I mean, Yeah, there's been a little bit of build up because, like I said, they are chasing him, but they just haven't been real clear on who he is or, you know,
Yeah. And maybe it was written that it may have been written that way,
yeah,
assuming that you had already seen Rogue One, so you had some interest in the character, so a little bit of his
yeah,
backstory.
Yeah, maybe.
I
and a lot of flashbacks. And you know
so
how I feel about flashbacks.
as
So,
long as it's not 5 years earlier and he's on an island,
uh,
it's okay.
well, he is, and he's got
Uh,
like this tribe that he lives with. So it's kind of like, oh, okay, oh, hang on, you know. So,
whatever the flashback has to deal with, it kind of parallels to what's going on right now.
it-
Uh,
right,
that got so goddamn old on Arrow. It's not even funny.
that was the killer for Arrow. I think it was cool to kind of explain what happened because everybody wanted to know what happened. But after that, it was like, dude, this is overplayed, you know?
It went on for at least 4 seasons.
Yeah, because you
Every
were
episode.
stranded on an island, but now you're in China and over
Yeah,
here, and you worked with Suicide Squad, and yeah, it just made no sense.
Right.
yeah.
If it's any consolation, I didn't watch Arrow and I got the reference that you made. So that's how pervasive it was.
Hmm.
It was the kind of thing that non-watchers heard about.
Yeah, it was bad.
So that's what I recommend. I recommend watching Rogue One and then maybe trying
And
Andor
then go
again.
I'll
back.
do that, and this weekend's a farm weekend, so I'll definitely watch 3 more with them, and that'll be halfway through, and that'll definitely tell me if maybe it's just not for me, or
I
like I
mean,
said,
that's
I wanna
always
like it.
yeah, I mean, that's a possibility, but I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
But I think it would help with you having the knowledge of what happens in Rogue One,
yeah,
so you know and care about the character more.
yeah. So far, it's kinda like, well, I understand why they're chasing you. You killed somebody, you know? So, yeah, I maybe that's what it is. I need to watch the movie and
Get some
then
context.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's a really, really good movie. And the last 30 or 40 minutes, I mean, it's just nonstop.
Hmm.
It's a lot of action.
So I think B's seen that, and that's why. And now I feel bad because I'm his Bill. He's waiting on me to finish watching this, and I've been like, eh.
Yeah, because they just wrapped up the second season, and that's it for Andor.
Huh.
It's like nine. If I heard correctly, it's like 9 episodes, but they're like in 3 episode chunks. So it's like one story is going to be 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5, 6, and then 7, 8, 9. I think that's what I understood, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think that's what B was saying too. So it's like maybe that's a good thing because I've done this chunk. Maybe I'll be interested in the next
Yeah,
chunk.
that's what I recommend is watching. I mean,
Well,
just
and
watch Reg One anyway.
Yeah. Well,
There's
that's
there.
another one. I thought I had seen it, but no, I guess I hadn't because I don't know who this guy is.
well, then maybe now through the first 3 episodes, they've gotten all the filler out of the way.
Yeah,
Oh,
So padded
that's
out to 12 episodes.
yeah. That
which
could
is
be.
weird because most of the time new series will put the filler in the middle, you
Right.
know?
Yeah, it's not best to start off with filler because you're trying to get people interested in the show to come back.
Mhm.
Right.
But
And like I said, that first time I had to stop and wait a minute. What? Start over. But it's definitely a show that you can't multitask. You have to be watching what's going on because they're telling you the future or not future, they're the present and the past. So it's like you have to pay attention to what's going on. Maybe that's another reason why I'm like, ah.
Mm, could be. Rightly so, I think.
Yeah.
That's annoying.
are these 2-hour episodes? What the hell?
You ain't got nothing even by episode 3. You ain't got nothing going that should
Yeah,
warrant a flashback. We're only 3 episodes in. What the hell are we flashing back to? I mean, come on.
they're flashing to him as a kid.
Which is dumb.
Yeah, well,
Why do we
kind of,
care?
because he's with this girl, and it kind of explains why he's with this lady, you know. So, which I thought was someone. Thank you, Taco. Um, I thought it was someone different to tell the story. So it's kind of good. They do have that story there, but it's kind of like, how is this playing into this? You know?
Hmm.
Talk
Right.
about the
And if
flashback. Go ahead. Go ahead, Mikey.
I was gonna say, if you're struggling with it, then they're probably not doing it well.
Yeah. Or they haven't made it. Yeah. Maybe it's just not interesting enough yet. But like I said, I've heard really good things about it. So I'm sure once I get past the slow part, then it'll pick up but I'm
Right.
definitely gonna watch the movie.
And with Tom's description of Rogue One, maybe the pacing of that will help you with the
Hmm.
pacing of the series because maybe they're similar. I don't know. Just a guess.
Or
But
know why they're telling me all this extra stuff.
sure.
So yeah, I'll watch the movie and then finish watching that with them. But no, other than that, I have not really. I've been having internet issues, so
Hmm.
yeah.
What I was going to say is, you talking about the flashback reminds me of Clerks, the animated series. You remember that? The second episode was a flashback episode.
Yeah, but that was intentional. That
I
was the
know.
joke.
I know.
I haven't
Oh
watched that
God,
in a while.
it's been forever.
And what was it?
The Clerks
Clerks
animated
animated
series.
series.
Oh, okay. Okay. Golly, can you hear that? That's not me, just so y'all know.
No, I don't hear
Stalker.
anything.
My dog. My goodness, girl.
Oh, this is one of those phone calls.
Put your dog up to this?
Before y'all get too excited, not me.
Uh-huh. Sure, it's not.
I'm fielding all offers for Bug.
It's just like always, blame the dog.
Okay, Mikey, your turn.
Oh, that makes it my turn then. Okay.
Mhm.
So I found a movie that I've kind of been looking for / waiting for to show up on streaming for a while. It's a movie that I've wanted to see for a while, but it just kind of wasn't readily available. Well, it's readily available now.
Minecraft?
No.
Oh, okay.
Given that response, you might laugh when you hear what it is. Amazon Prime has got Zardoz
Mhm.
available for streaming for members. Zardoz is from 1974, and it stars Sean Connery and Charlotte Rampling. And yes, before you ask, this is the Red Banana Hammock movie.
The red diaper.
Uh-huh. Um, and honestly, I was thinking about this before recording, and I'm like, I'm not sure I can describe this movie in any reasonable amount of time. Because honestly, I didn't understand a lot of it. It's okay. The nutshell version is it's set in a future where there's a group of essentially immortal people in a chateau, basically. And then there's the rest of civilization. And the movie, I will spoil this much. The movie is the story of the downfall of that group of immortals.
Hmm.
And there's a long way to go in between, because Sean Connery is playing one of the regular people, one of what they call brutals, which is basically just the actual survivors of the apocalypse. So he gets brought in by mysterious means to basically, or in an effort to orchestrate the downfall of the Eternals. It is a very weird movie. It's not just a weird story; it's a weird movie. I mean, it's both, but this is a little bit of the backstory I thought was interesting. Apparently, this is the story John Borman came up with while he was caught up in production hell, trying to get a Lord of the Rings film made in the early 70s. So there we are.
Well, it's so funny because you've probably heard the story of Connery turning down the role of Gandalf and
Mm-hmm.
turning down the role of I can't remember Lawrence Fishburne's character in The Matrix.
Morpheus.
Morpheus, because he didn't understand it. But somehow he understood this role in Zardoz.
Now, the trick here is, and strangely enough, I'm going to defend Sean. I have no reason to do this, but I'm going to defend Connery just a little bit.
Okay.
This was in 1974.
Yeah, he's trying to get away from.
The deal was he was trying to escape being stereotyped as James Bond. Boy, howdy, does this movie do it? Sort of.
Right.
You can see glimpses of Bond in this character, but it's not that at all, for sure. That was honestly one of the first things I thought. This was okay, but Gandalf, he didn't understand.
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't think he would have done well as Gandalf anyway. I never have thought that. Ever since I heard that story, I'm like, yeah, but we got a way better deal.
I couldn't see it either, but
a million times better. Yeah, he would not. He didn't understand Gandalf because Gandalf had feelings. Sean Connery, and he proved it in interview. Sean Connery wasn't capable of basically portraying anybody with emotions. I'm sure there are times in his career. I've not seen every Sean. There are times in his career when he tried or he did it by accident or something, but I'm willing to bet it didn't go over.
Yeah.
I am a huge fan of James Bond and of Sean Connery in that context, but I don't think he really had as much acting range as people want to think he did.
Yeah.
Not to turn this into a Connery bashing episode or anything, and the ironic part of that is that his quote unquote co-star in this, Charlotte Rampling, I was impressed at the acting, at the job she did acting, because she went through this entire movie and she was in a lot of the movie and her facial expression never fucking changed. And she went and the character allegedly ran the gamut of emotions. She went from, she was the first one to when Zed showed up, she was the first one to say, kill it. Not kill him, kill it. And then all of a sudden at the very end, she's in love with him. And I don't know where the fuck that came from either, but her facial expression literally never changed throughout it was exactly the same. It was a look of mild annoyance from beginning to end. It was weird. It's one of the things that makes this movie weird is her performance. But yeah, I honestly, I'm in a perverse way. I'm actually going to say people should watch this movie just to see, just as the spectacle that it is. It didn't go over well when it came out either. Huh?
His little bore-out outfit here that he's wearing.
Well, I mean, I can see where you get that from the banana hammock and the mustache. It's not far off. You've seen the,
Oh,
you see
man.
that, you see it. You'll be like, oh yeah, that.
Yeah.
But and he's not wearing that the whole time, just a lot.
Just a lot. But not the whole time.
Not the whole time. Yeah. Yeah. It's a spectacle for sure. But I mean, as stories and movies go, I wouldn't. It's there's a lot of what not to do, I think, when you're making a science fiction movie in the 70s.
Yeah, there was a video on YouTube I watched that it was like a list of sci-fi movies from the 70s that you should see
I
that
saw
doesn't
one like that,
include
too.
doesn't include Star Wars, and I believe Zardoz was on there.
Yeah, I saw a similar list, or it may have been the same one.
It could
I
have been
saw
the
a
same
list
one.
of that. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's worth watching just for the weirdness factor.
Yeah,
But if you're expecting fine cinema, this ain't it. It's
I've
weird
been
because
on.
Corman has done some really good movies. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm a huge fan of Excalibur, crying out loud. Um,
I haven't
and
seen
it's
that in
funny.
forever.
There's a lot of the same. I haven't looked, but I wouldn't be surprised if the cinematographer is the same on those two movies because there's some very similar camera stuff that they're doing. But yeah, it works in Excalibur. It doesn't work here.
I hadn't seen Excalibur in forever.
Yeah, it's been a while since I saw it too, but I always liked it.
Oh yeah, that was one of the films I'd noticed Patrick Stewart in.
Yep, Liam Neeson was in it too.
Yep. Liam Neeson had a brief part in Krull as well, which I like that film. I like Krull.
If I saw that, it was a long time ago. I'm not sure. The thing I always found interesting about Excalibur, not to go too tangenty here, was the guy who played King Arthur. God, I'm blanking on his name right now.
I can see him, but I can't remember his name.
Yeah, I mean, he was King Arthur and did a really great job of King Arthur in Excalibur. Several years earlier, he was in a movie, where he played Prince John, which is a very different character. He's a total opposite character and does really well at both of them, is my point. So I'm kind of mad at myself for not remembering his name, but
Was that Nicole Williams?
no, he played Merlin.
Oh.
Nicole Williamson. He had also done Sherlock Holmes for something. He was Sherlock Holmes in some movie. I don't remember which one. And I thought he did a good job of that too. But
I know what you're talking about, but I'm blanking on the title.
Nigel Terry. That's the name of the guy who played King Arthur.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, and so the fact that we're now talking about better movies probably is a good hint that I'm done.
Alrighty, Les.
Well, last week we were discussing a movie, and I looked up at the TV, and yep, Turner Movie Classics was showing it right at that minute.
Cool.
I went, this is weird. I'm sorry I don't recall what we were discussing, but I thought perfect timing. Obviously, it didn't mean that much to me. I didn't watch it all. But then Like the next night, they had one of my favorites, Music Man. And I thought, now this is going my direction. I enjoy this movie. So get to see Robert Preston, Phil Ford, and so many others that were.
Buddy Hackett, Shirley Jones, Ron Howard.
Yeah.
It's a pretty nice cast. I love that film.
And it problem is that I know so many people that say, "Oh no, it was a bad movie," and I thought, how do you rate this bad? It's got so many different plot directions, but obviously it's culminating in the love affair.
Well, there's people out there that just don't like musicals.
That's true, and I have no problem with that.
Good, because I'm one of them.
Just get out of my way, though.
Oh yeah, you can watch it whenever you want. I'm not gonna stop you. It's on Tubi.
Cool. I'll have to.
Also watched Bullet Train with Brad Pitt. I'm not a Brad Pitt fan, but this was an interesting movie. He's an assassin that's on a train and is told by the group that's handling him that he has to be on the train to keep a person alive. Problem is, on the train, there are like 40 different assassins there to do what it's supposed to keep from happening. So it's interesting death, although it's a comedy.
Oh well, that's a relief.
Yeah, it is major action and pain. And that's about it for me.
Okay.
Cool.
Well, for me, I did a little binging on Tubi. Tubi has all 4 Rec films. And if you're not familiar with Rec is a 2007 Spanish horror film. And God, I've never done a list because I just can't do it. But this is one of my favorite horror films. Even if it's Spanish and it's subtitled and all that, it's still a really good film.
This is the found footage thing, right?
Found footage thing, yes.
Yeah.
There was an American remake called Quarantine, which is not as good.
Right. Yeah, that's what I've heard.
But they have all 4 films. I've seen the first 2 several times. The third one I've had only seen once, and I had never seen the 4th one. And they decided after 4 that was it. And I commend them on that. I commend them on say, okay, we've told the story. Yeah, we kind of left the opening, but we're not gonna do anything. And I appreciate that. Because it's too easy to jump the shark and start doing stuff that just deteriorates the quality. Yeah, deteriorates the quality of what has been done before. So yeah, the premise is this reporter and cameraman for kind of a news doco series called While You Were Sleeping they were going to do a story covering life as a firefighter. So you got this time of them setting up of the station and how they, what they do and all that kind of stuff. And it takes its time, and it's great because you actually develop the characters, and you can get that all that, which is something that just seems like it's not done in a lot of horror films, to where you can actually care about the characters. But so there's a call, so they head out. It's to an apartment complex, and next thing you know, everything's being shut down. They're being quarantined because there's a virus in this apartment complex that basically turns them into zombies. They got to get bit, and then they turn zombies. For lack of a better word, zombies. I won't go into details of why that happens, because they do go into it toward the end. It's kind of up in the air, but they kind of lead you toward a possible reason of why this is happening. But it's further explained in the second film. So the second film literally takes place a couple minutes after the first film. The third film takes place the same time the first film happens, but it's at a different location. It's involving a massive wedding. And then the fourth one is actually a sequel to the second. So it can extends that story that way. So, I mean, 2, 3, 4 are not as good as the first one, but I still enjoyed them. The first one just, I mean, everything. Just the look, the time they did to develop the characters, everything felt genuine, which is something you should be doing if you're doing a found footage movie.
It helps, yeah.
It does.
And it gets forgotten a lot too.
Yes. So, I definitely recommend it if you've not seen it. It's genuine terrifying.
Cool. Yeah, I've heard good things about it.
Yeah. Yep. Stay away from Quarantine. Stay away from Quarantine 2. I mean, I've seen them, and like I said, Quarantine is basically an inferior version of it. And then Quarantine 2 they went on their own path, and obviously you see how well it did, because that's all there was just 2 films.
Right.
So yeah, definitely check out Wreck. I know the fact that it's subtitled will scare some people away, and it can be difficult. I won't lie about that, but God, it's a really good film, really good horror film. Like I said, it's up there on my list. If I had to put together a list, it's up there.
Cool.
So, and
Nice.
like I said, they're all on Tubi. All right.
So much stuff on Tubi.
Oh God, yes. On that note, we are going to take our first break, and then we'll get back into this week's discussion. Welcome back. We're wrapping up Classic TV Month today. Hope you've been enjoying this. It's always fun to kind of look at some of these shows that where was I going with that? I'm sorry. Just kind of nice to go back and look at some of these that we maybe grew up watching, and just kind of analyze them, try to figure out why we enjoyed them and all that kind of thing. So I hope you've enjoyed this. So for our final episode, we are going to get lost in space. Woohoo!
Yay.
The show was inspired by Swiss Family Robinson. Which makes sense because I know Charlton was doing a comic book adaptation of the show, but they called it Space Family Robinson. I guess they couldn't use Lost in Space, so they did their own thing. So.
And then when they made this show, they didn't even bother changing the name.
Nope.
They're the Robinson family.
The Robinson family. So, obviously, as you can tell, if you've not seen the show, the family known as the Robinsons who get lost in space and are trying to find a way back home. So, let's
Is that
talk
what that was about?
something like that.
Hard to believe, isn't it?
It's either that or just far out space nuts. Well, it's one of those. One of those shows. Which nobody gets that reference, so that's okay.
About It's About Time.
Oh man.
Anyway, let's talk about let's go ahead and talk about Lost in Space.
I remember this came on after Banana Splits.
Let's say not originally, okay?
Right,
Yeah,
not
no.
originally.
In reruns for sure.
In the 80s, yeah. I'm gonna kind of have to suck on this one because that sounded bad.
Folks.
Right.
Thanks for the warning, Liz.
It's on Hulu, I believe. The first 3 seasons.
Oh no,
Like
there
I
are only
said,
3 seasons.
Yeah, there's only 3
yes.
seasons. Yeah.
I did not get a chance to go back and watch that because my internet. So I remember it and I remember liking it as a kid, but
You
yeah,
didn't get to refresh your memory.
I didn't get a refresher. Yep. Sorry. I remember the robot. I think
Everybody remembers the
anytime,
robot.
yep. I think that's what I was saying. During this time period, I think anytime you bought in it, people were gonna like it. It was gonna do good, like Buck Rogers.
Buck Rogers did not do good though. But anyway.
He did for me, damn it.
Hey, the robot was fine. The robot was a little silly, but
Yeah.
at least it was Mel Blanc being silly, so that makes it okay.
Yeah.
BDBDB, fuck off, Buck.
No. That was Buck Rogers. Jesus Christ, people.
Yes, that's what we're talking about.
That's what we're talking about, Buck Rogers.
Now, which one was Robbie in? Robbie the robot.
That's Lost in Space.
Was it Lost in Space?
But,
so did they do a crossover with Gilligan's Island? Because I remember Robbie being on the island for some reason.
I don't
Maybe
know.
it was a different robot.
I legitimately don't know either show well kind of detail.
Let's see.
Yeah, and you talk about not having a chance to freshen up on these. This was a show I never got into in the first place, which is weird probably, but because I was eating up sci-fi and at different points in my childhood, but this must have hit between those points because I remember watching this show a few times as a kid and being bored. Whether that's a testament to the show itself or that's just the memory I walked away from it with, I don't know. But yeah, I never got into the show.
It was part of a block, or I may not have been.
Right.
But yeah, it came on during, yeah. I don't know.
I think it was probably, for me, it was probably just wasn't sciencey enough. It was just more about the people than
More drama.
anything else. Yeah, it was more of a drama than a sci-fi show for my taste. Which, admittedly, my taste was probably like 10 years old at the time, so I don't know, but didn't land.
And wasn't there another one that kind of was the same, but instead of being like, what was this, 1997 they were in? It was
hmm
like prehistoric time.
Wasn't that
They
Land of the
had,
Lost?
was it Land of the Lost? Maybe
Didn't
so.
they?
Yeah.
That was like a time travel thing, or I don't remember if it was a time travel or they just
They like
another planet
adopted
with
the little
dinosaurs and
caveman
shit.
monkey
Yeah.
dude.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I liked that one.
But yeah, also had
That,
children in it.
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah.
That's mid to late 70s. Land of the
Okay.
Lost. That was part of like the
Good Marty Croft stuff.
yeah,
Yeah, Sid
Yeah,
Meier.
Sid Marty Croft. Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, I sat down to watch the run of this. I didn't get too far, but I did get to watch No Place to Hide, which was the pilot for Lost in Space.
Okay.
Hmm.
In that, you had the characters right there, minus Dr. Smith, minus the robot, but they had a monkey called Debbie, which obviously didn't make it into the series.
Interesting.
Pardon me?
I said interesting.
Yeah. I highly recommend watching this because it was in 3 parts, about 20 minutes each or a little more. And it kind of told you about the Robinsons lifting off by the Gemini 12. Not the same name as the ship they took on the TV series, but they did. To me, it was a better storyline and definitely better filming because it looked more like a movie than it did a TV series. Obviously, they were shooting for a TV series, but the expenditures looked a lot better, so much better, and they ended with a cliffhanger. So we don't know where they are because they were supposed to be shooting to Alpha Centauri, and that was the main list for all of the Lost in Space films. In this one, each of the characters were in uh, hibernation, and the takeoff was in 1997. So that was, way before the, the series was, because they talked about a date in 2001. They had a log. Somebody was keeping a log, and they would come back to the log, and a voiceover would talk about December 3rd of 1997. And then later it was 2001. I thought, okay, right now that's kind of weird. but it was that the Robinson family and their pilot were to spend time in the chambers until they got to Alpha Centauri, but they were hit by meteors and knocked them off kilter. Plus, it also started blowing up all the computers and the like. So they were knocked off course. Now, it was kind of funny to me that the computers they were showing were not even computers that you would find in early computer schools. They were just, they would, in computer schools, they had big reel-to-reel computers. And this one was just a bank of flashing lights. But okay, yeah, I guess what they're doing is exactly what they should be doing. I don't know. I can't tell you yes or no. But if you get a chance, and if you go to IMDb, look up Lost in Space, the first episode was the pilot, No Place to Hide, and it was released on streaming systems in 2007. So if you do get the chance, just sit and watch this and enjoy it, because it tells definitely a different story than what the TV series became.
Interesting. Yeah, there's probably a joke in there about how a monkey named Debbie is probably a better character than Dr. Smith, but we'll just leave that alone for the moment.
I never found out who Debbie was or where she was from. but it was a monkey with hair at the temples that went straight up, made it look like it's wearing a Batman helmet, and would just chitter around. And of course, you had Penny as the owner. Will was chasing an emu with extra gear on its head. And the Robinsons just kind of sat around. So, yeah. It's a quick watch.
Interesting. Might have to check that out.
Yeah. Be interesting to find out why they decided they need to replace the monkey and bring in the robot and Dr. Smith.
Sure.
Maybe the robot tested better.
Maybe
probably more money.
Yeah.
So.
Maybe they found the robot from the stuff stored away from Forbidden Planet and decided it would look cooler and be more useful than a monkey. I mean, because both Smith and the robot serve a major purpose in the story. It's just, I guess maybe they didn't realize they needed that until after the pilot.
Yep, I believe so. Now, this was a program that was created by Irwin Allen, which I love to watch anything he did, and he did a lot. This is the man that brought you TV shows like Land of Giants, Time Tunnel, Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea.
Yeah.
He was connected to Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, both the TV series and the movie. That's a movie I would like to see again. With Al Hedison, Barbara Eden. I think Peter Lorre was in it.
Yeah. Is it Walter Pidgeon?
Walter Pidgeon, yeah.
And oh God, I'm trying to remember.
Joan Fontaine. Michael and Sarah.
Yeah, Michael and Sarah.
Yep. Frankie Avalon.
It's a hell of a cast. I don't think I've ever seen that.
Been a while since I've seen it. It's been several years.
The thought process for that one was really good too. So I highly recommend that one. That was in 61.
We always come out of these things with more stuff to watch than we can ever possibly catch up on.
Right.
Things the way it goes.
It's okay, we'll blame Les for it.
There you go.
Come on over.
No, I hadn't watched any of these episodes in a long time, but I seem to remember Dr. Smith not only being kind of into comic relief, but he was also the antagonist too.
Yeah, a lot of the time. He was usually trying to create some sort of drama with something.
Yeah. Oh, the pain, the pain, the pain.
Jonathan Harris did a hell of a job of overacting Dr. Smith.
Oh God, yes.
To practically historical effect. He is the character is well known, to say the least.
I seem to remember enjoying, for the most part, enjoying the show. I guess it was because it was a sci-fi thing. I don't know. There wasn't a lot of that when I was young, other than like Star Trek and a couple other things. So.
Right. Yeah, it's also fun that this is the show that we've done this month. That was the shortest run. Apparently, it was only a moderate success, and may have actually been expensive to make because.
Oh, probably.
I mean, although my recollection was that the sets pretty much all look the same to me.
Yeah.
I mean, they would do some dress up, like some cardboard boulders here and there to kind of change it up a little bit. But generally speaking, it was the same backdrop every week. From what I remember. I mean, and I don't necessarily remember every episode.
But. Right. I remember the first season was black and white, and then he went to color, and I just wonder. I'd never looked into it to see if that was done on purpose. If they thought turning into color would shake things up. I don't know.
Yep, I never really read anything that told me anything about that. Oh, maybe they. I mean, it seems weird that they got more budget at that point, but
yeah,
anything's possible. By the mid-60s, I suspect they were moving as much stuff as they could to color. Try to sell more TV sets, if nothing else.
Right. Yeah, it's
Didn't
possible.
Bonanza come out in like 64? Wasn't it in black and white originally?
Bonanza, I believe it was.
I don't remember.
Well, we know that
Yeah,
I Dream of Jeannie was. And
Bonanza started in '59, so it almost certainly was black and white to start.
shows that debuted in the fall of '65 included Hazel, The Steve Lawrence Show, The Wild Wild West, Smothers Brothers Show, The Dean Martin Show, Hogan's Heroes, and My Three Sons. Those are just a few of them.
Mm-hmm.
So in that list, I see nobody with a science fiction title, unless you want to consider Hazel.
Yeah, Star Trek didn't come on until the next year, '66.
Yep.
I remember the ads for NBC that year, because they were plugging the hell out of Star Trek. Heck, Ramsey, I want to say McMillan and wife, of the fire department of San Francisco, all sorts of things.
My Favorite Martian was on. That 65-66 season was actually its last season. And oddly, it looks like that 65-66 season was the only season of color. So apparently in that 65-66 season, they were really pushing stuff in color.
Yeah. Days of Our Lives came out in '65. Big Valley.
I mean, all of the shows that we have talked about this month started in '65.
Pretty much.
Coincidence?
I think Tom noticed that like the first week and was like, I wasn't on purpose.
Yeah, it wasn't on purpose.
Another notable thing about Lost in Space, the music for it was written by a shiny young John Williams.
Wow.
One of his first gigs in a quote unquote Hollywood.
A nice theme. I like the theme song.
Mm-hmm. He did that.
Mm-hmm. I did not realize that. Okay, so why don't you do your final thoughts and we'll just wrap up Classic TV Month. Would you recommend the show?
At least once.
Yeah, check it out.
Yeah,
Try it.
yeah.
See if you like
Try
it.
I highly recommend this show.
Yeah,
just
definitely.
To catch the bloopers.
Well, I'll make it unanimous. Definitely just try it out. I'm sure you'll like it. So, okay. On that note, we're going to take another quick break and be back with Geek News for you. Welcome back. It's time for Geek News for You. In this segment, we bring a couple news items to the table for discussion. This week, it is Mike and myself. And Mike, would you go first, please, sir?
Oh, sure. I love going first. So the article I found is interesting because it was written weirdly. It was written to emphasize something that I thought wasn't the actual news bit because unless maybe it's just I'm behind the times and missed this. The interesting news bit from this article is that apparently Amazon is working on on a series based on Carrie,
Hmm.
Stephen King's novel. This was complete news to me.
Me too.
Because there hadn't been enough movie adaptations of the book.
Right.
There's at least 3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. They
Only
had there's
one was good.
right. Scarred the hell out of me, that's for sure. But I was
Mm-hmm.
way too young when I saw
They're all
it.
gonna laugh at you.
I have not watched it since either. So I am not capable of quoting it. But yeah, there's not a release date pinned on this, but there's some interest. And the thing about this article was it's basically calling it a Battlestar Galactica reunion, and I'm like, what?
Wow.
Okay. Katie Sackhoff and Michael Trucco are. That's it. Apparently, that's the item. That's the news for this. I don't quite understand that, but whatever.
Yay.
Apparently, Mike Flanagan is the one making this series. So,
Might
he's
be
pretty
pretty
good.
good. Yeah.
Right. Um, other names, other casting names involved are Kate Siegel, Heather Graham, Tim Bagley, Matthew Lillard, and Summer Howell. So yeah, that's
Pretty
interesting.
cool. That is. Boy, Matthew Lillard's really busy here lately.
He's working his butt off,
Mm-hmm.
which is cool.
Something I just posted with him. What was that?
Yeah, there was something.
Yeah, he seems to be everywhere right now. His name's been popping up a lot, so
Oh yeah,
very in demand.
he's working with Mike Flanagan on another one called The Life of Chuck.
Oh, I've heard about that one.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I heard about that is guess who else is going to be in that show?
Who?
Fresh from retirement, Mia Sara.
Oh wow, interesting.
He talked her out of retirement.
Cool.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
Could be fun.
If the name's not familiar with you, the Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Well, was it Legend? Or no, maybe not Legend.
Yeah, it was Legend.
Legend. Yeah. So yeah. And
Yeah, she was a big hit in the 80s.
Yep.
And then she kind of wasn't anymore.
Yep. And she decided to retire. But Flanagan approached her. So
pretty cool. Yeah.
Yep. Well, if you want to talk interesting, this is going to be interesting. It looks like we're going to get another adaptation of Dickens' A Christmas Carol, written and directed by Robert Eggers. the gentleman who brought us Nosferatu.
Who just did Nosferatu. Yep.
And the sources are saying that William Dafoe will get the role of Scrooge.
Oh, that'll be good.
That will be interesting.
There's no timetable listed because he is working. He's supposed to be working on what? Hang on. Werewolf, which is supposed to start shooting later on this year. Nosferatu brought in $181 million wide. 95 of it was here domestically.
Sweet.
And had 4 Oscar nominations. Cinematography, production design, costume design, and makeup and hairstyling. So
I still need to watch that.
I've heard good things about it.
Oh, me too. That's why I need to watch it. I just haven't gotten around to it yet.
Yeah.
I will for sure watch that one.
So
if you get a chance to watch both of them back to back, it's awfully fun.
Oh, I bet. And by both of them, he means the only 2 real versions. The original and the Eggers version.
Yeah. Alrighty. Any special shout outs or mentions this week?
Not me.
Just look through the listings of TV shows from 65 because there are a lot of them. I didn't even remember some of the. I remember them, but I didn't remember they came out in 65.
Which is weird because there were only 3 networks back then. It's crazy.
Right. Yep. And it's funny you talk about that. That channel, Robert's Retro, I think it was Retro Rewind. He just put out the 89, 90, or 88, 89, 89, 90. Put that out, but he had to put it out as in 2 videos. Because the first one was about an hour, and the other one's like 20 minutes or so. Because at this point, Fox has been added. So the one that's an hour covers Sunday through Thursday, and then Friday and Saturdays, and whatever was syndicated was on the second one. So.
Wow. Interesting way to break it up.
Yep.
Cool.
All right, we'll get into our regular shout-outs. First one to thank Pop Goes the Culture for allowing us to be part of a great little podcast network. Recommend that you check them out. There'll be a link in our show notes. We also want you to check out the fine men and women who spread the word of the fellowship on Twitter. They're known as Podern Family. The best way to look that up is hashtag Podern Family, all one word. Just scroll through the list, and whatever catches your eye, by all means, click on that link, download the episode. Hope you have a great time listening to them. Also want to thank Manny the Martyr for supplying the music to our podcast. There will be a link in the show notes where you can check out some of their other pieces of music. And you, dear listener, thank you for downloading and listening to today's episode. We value your feedback. If you wish to contact us, our email address is email@thefellowshipofthegeeks.net, or you can go to the website, go to the About Us page, and there's a contact form that you can fill out there. We do have a Discord that you can join. We post news items, stuff for discussion, stuff to laugh at, stuff to check out musically, trailers. We'll have some activities on there from time to time. Sign up for Discord is free. The apps are free in the app stores. And we do have an open invitation on our home. So if you want to come hang out with us, by all means, do that. Social media, Facebook, we're the Fellowship of the Geeks. On Instagram, Twitter, and Bluesky, we're at Fellowship Geeks. If you'd like to follow our personal Twitter accounts, Mike can be found at Mikey Geek. Liz can be found at LN_Geek. Les may or may not be found at Fake Les Webster. And I can be found at TomTC Geek. And from wherever you download our episodes, if you'd be so kind enough as to rate and review the show, it would be greatly appreciated. Anything else before we say goodbye?
Just thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening, everybody. We appreciate the support as always. And until next time, geek on, my friends.
We thank you for listening to the show. Comments, suggestions, and questions can be sent to email at thefellowshipofthegeeks.net. You can follow us on Facebook at The Fellowship of the Geeks and on Twitter at Fellowship Geeks. Until next time,